Hello, Cameron. This will be some video feedback for week 3 and 4.1, the discussion on wireframes. I don't think I'll post this video on your as a reply on your week 4 discussion board. You'll get the feedback on your wireframes through this video, and that's only because I'm missing 3.3, I believe, from you. Have you been able to upload things to GeoCities or perhaps 000 web host? Have you been able to upload things or use FTP? Little puzzled. I looked around on your 3.2, which I think is the milestone, and it looked like you might have been able to create a GeoCities account, but it wasn't clear. So anyway, that's an important goal to make, and it'll become much easier once you can comfortably move things on and off the server. Cameron, your wireframes are just right. They're skeletal, but they give us an indication of where things fall on your page, and they look like they would be adaptable to a wide variety of formats. One of the nice things about knowing how to upload things to a web server is that once you have done so, you'll be able to view them from your phone. And that's really important. You think about all the time we spend with these small devices. Designing your website so that they adapt is advisable. Take a look at your website as it develops from your phone, throughout the class, the remaining of the class. I think in general, my preferences are for pages that are less ornamental. These fancy shapes. Ideally, you probably can do this. But you want your text to remain editable, so this would be a technological hurdle for, I think, not a great effect. Keep them simple. Cropping them into ovals, images into ovals, is doable and might be pleasing. In general, I think websites look better if the images are large, and avoid putting borders and boxes around them. It just increases the visual noise. Remember, you have all the frames of the browser to deal with. We don't really take those into account, but we should, because there is this background noise that our interfaces have to compete with. I would keep the navigation scheme ranging up here in the top. You don't want the viewer to have to scroll far to navigate. This could be doable. Perhaps you could put the navigation scheme up here, next to the logo. Just a suggestion, but you can range it down the side, and I certainly hope that all these websites don't, look alike. I see that you're anticipating a footer that, as you have demonstrated, is an important part of a web page. Okay, well, that's some feedback on the wireframes. As I noted, 3.3 is still outstanding. Please don't hesitate to turn it in, and I will and shoot me a note if you have a chance to turn that in. Cameron, is this the only thing I got from you? These two small images. I see that you've installed Word. I'm not sure what that is meant to demonstrate. And then I see that you have a screenshot of GeoCities. Now, I zoomed way in to try to discern what the URL might be. What else have you submitted here? So that was for file structure. Okay, is this the same? Let me take a look at this layout. Oh, okay. This is a wireframe. I can see why you might get confused with this and a sitemap, but it is a kind of visual sitemap, but it also looks like the wireframe from the discussion has slightly changed here with the navigation over to the right. Nice illustrations too. I don't mean to discourage you in any way. So many other students have just used paper and pencil, and sometimes it's difficult to see what they intend. Yours are very precise, so I appreciate that, and kudos to you for that. However, it's different than a sitemap. Coded sitemap. A coded sitemap is a list of all the pages that will appear in your navigation. So, for example, for a restaurant, it might include menu, it might include, maybe reservations, about us, and maybe contact information, right? And all those things will have all those pages will have a web address. They're in a list. It's called an unordered list, just kind of a random list of them, or in the order at least that you want them to appear in your navigation. And then that does become your navigation in week 5. Take a look at HTML5 Foundations, Chapter 2. Cameron, you address each of the discussion prompts or journal prompts, and so good going. It's a good framework to begin a response like this, is just address the questions asked. And I see that you've developed some questions not only for the focus group but also for your client. So good going on that. Your research, just what's out there, just hoofing it, we used to call it. Get on the streets and figure out what the competition, if there is any, what it is, what it's like around. But there are also some technological tools too. There's the U.S. Census, which is available to all of us. It's really detailed demographics too. There's Nielsen. Then some more technological tools are. Google has a whole quiver full of analytic tools available to people know how to use them. So good job on that. Just keep your eyes open for research tools that are friendly to designer types like ourselves. So I think the hurdle I see for you, Cameron, at this point is uploading files so that the class can see. And it may sound intimidating. If you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out. I posted my phone number in my feedback.